All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Jessica Worthington. I'm the director with the Office of Downtown Development at the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. And this is Third Thursday, Coffee and Conversations. With me from our team, we have Ellen Hill, our Main Street Training and Compliance Coordinator, and Tess Harper, our Communications Coordinator. Ebony and Elizabeth are traveling and doing other things today, so they couldn't be with us, but we miss them, of course, and they're with us in spirit. And then I did see, I think it was Kathy from DCA, one of our regional reps was on, and I was trying to see if there was any other DCA folks. See Kathy, I'm scrolling through the list. Looks like that's it. Thank you for all being here. So if this is your first time joining us, we do these once a month, and it's just an opportunity for us to get together to talk about what's coming up, what's happening around the state, to be able to share ideas, to talk about trainings, to learn something, and to be able to just, generally interact with each other, learn from each other, and get to connect more than just at conferences or in-person workshops. So we started this during COVID, and we're still going strong, and we'll keep going as long as people keep showing up. So Ellen, do you see anybody new on, or is there anybody new that's joining us for the first time that would like to say hi?
I think this might be Maggie from Stone Mountain's first time on here. I see her name. I hate to call her out with her, she doesn't have her camera on, but I think that might be the only brand new person I see.
Okay. Well, we won't make her come on if she's not ready to, but so let's see, we got tons of stuff going on. Let's just dive right into it. So trainings, first and foremost, we've got a couple trainings coming up, and I know we've talked about some of them before, but we've actually solidified dates and have registration up and live, ready to go. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Mobilize Main Street. So we announced, I believe it was maybe last time or the time before, that our Mobilize Main Street event will be taking place this fall. And the communities that we're going to be visiting are Hartwell, Dahlonega, and Gainesville. If you've never been to a Mobilize Main Street, think of it as a conference that is really just mobile tour based, right? So it is all about learning on the go and being able to see projects in real time. So what we do is we have a small cohort, usually around 30 folks, that get together, and we visit 3 communities within a span of a couple of days. And in each community, we kind of do a deep dive into projects that they've done and accomplished. We talk about financial tools, things that have helped them pull that project together, as well as having usually the person who spearheaded the project, or the business owner, property owner, whoever it is, there to discuss it, walk us through the project, show us the project. Again, the idea is not just classroom learning, but to be able to get out in the field and see these projects happening in real life. And so, Hartwell, Dahlonega, and Gainesville have some incredible stuff going on. Gainesville just has the most amazing housing initiative that they've undertaken the past few years, and it's so incredible, the transformation that has happened downtown. Hartwell too, they've put a lot into infrastructure and sidewalks. They've had so much booming growth, just business wise, and I love their kind of like approach to like placemaking and serving local businesses. And then Dahlonega, Dahlonega is just one of those communities that, because of the tourism, it is always popping. There's always stuff going on. but there has been a lot of growth there too with the university. And so it's really interesting to see how these two worlds have really like merged and kind of blended together, and what the evolution of that community is looking like, and how they're really integrating these other aspects into downtown development. So the dates for this are going to be October 1st through 3rd. Um, Again, the registration link is live up on our website right now, and we were able to keep prices the same as last year. So we only have 30 seats available. And one of the things that we have done, Ellen has dropped the link in the chat. And one of the things that we have also done this year is that we are limiting the amount of people that come from a community to three folks per community. And that's just because we want to be able to have, as many communities participate. We know it's always more fun to come with a buddy or a couple buddies. So we did, still kind of leave room for that. But we also want to make sure that we get to spread the love and enough other people get to come and experience it. Yes, Belinda, you would count as one of the three. Good question. So, for example, if you're a manager and you had support staff, you and your support staff and one other person, maybe that's your board chair, maybe that somebody else could come. Or, if you're, feeling adventurous, you could send 3 board members from one community, and not go yourself as the manager. It's up to you. Again, we just want to make sure that we're providing, this experience to as many communities as possible. Any questions about Mobilize before I move on to the next training? Okay. All right. So the next training, as you guys are probably, thinking about what we had committed to this year and then what we had to kind of back off from. In the beginning of the year, we had scheduled a training in Athens for strategic planning. We're still planning. We're still planning on doing the planning training. It's just because of schedules and dates and stuff. It looks like we won't be doing that till next spring. But we had already worked with the Hotel Indigo and had secured and paid for training facility in Athens. And so what we wanted to do was be able to kind of pivot and offer something a little bit different this year. And so we have been working with our friends over at GMA, and we are going to be offering a 1-day workshop. And it's going to be a long day. So if you need to come in the night before, we have a hotel room block ready for you, and we'll do something the night before with anybody who's in town. So we'll make it a fun little networking event. But this training will be disaster planning for Main Street communities. And so this is going to be July 18th. Ellen is dropping registration link into the chat right now. But the idea is, again, to focus on disaster preparedness and emergency response through the lens of downtown development. And so we've got I've been working with different speakers. Ellen and I have been meeting with people. We're doing a couple different things. So one is we will have a local emergency management director coming in to talk to us about, what is an emergency management agency? How can it work with you in your position locally in your community, some of the requirements, and really just getting familiar with like the language, the lingo, and the expectations of what they're required to do as an agency, and like how you as a program can tap into that. We are going to have a crisis communication section of it, and it will be divided into 2 different sections. So one of them, one part of it is going to be focused on like 911 and E911, really like how it works, what they do, what they don't do, because there is misinformation and misunderstanding out there as far as expectations. And then the second component of communications will be, how, do you prepare for crisis communications, like creating that plan, executing that plan, the value of the plan, that sort of thing. In the afternoon, we have a couple different scenarios going on. So one of them is a training called Craze, and basically it is focusing on active shooter and responding to active shooters, right? So how do we prepare for that? And with everything that we do, we're going to work with GMA to be looking at it through the lens of downtown development. So we host events, we host festivals, we host all these things. We've got 7 million plus people coming to events throughout the state, but this is not an area that we have, traditionally like spent a lot of time discussing. And we want to, kind of change that dialogue and really start integrating some of this emergency preparedness components into our events that we're doing, just so, we are prepared for the unexpected. We will also be doing it's a session called Stop the Bleed. And so it's really, this session is hands-on, and it'll be taught by our GMA friends. And they come prepared with tourniquets and bandages and all this kind of stuff. And so not only do they help teach some of like how to triage and what you're triaging, but also we'll be learning how to apply a tourniquet and do some of those, basic, first aid medical stuff ourselves, just again to help, get you prepared, hands-on. And then they're developing a special tabletop exercise for us at the end of the day that will focus on what if scenarios. You're doing this in your community, this is happening, what if this happens? And will, give us an opportunity to kind of run through all the possible considerations that you should, be, accounting for in your own community, as well as really pulling together all the information that we've learned from earlier in the day. So I'm excited to be able to do this. This is definitely, something I'm passionate about. And I'm excited to, be able to bring in a bunch of different other presenters and speakers from other agencies and entities, to kind of merge some worlds together. So that again will be July 18th. It will be in Athens. We will be at the Hotel Indigo. Registration is up and live, and we hope to see you there. I can't remember the times, Ellen. I think we start early, right? It's like 8 or 8:30.
Yeah, it's 8:30. It's an all-day thing.
Yeah, just because there is so much to cover. We originally started with a smaller schedule and then just realized there's no way we'd be able to do it. But we will be bringing in lunch for you too. So we are trying to, maximize your time with us. All right, so 2 big training opportunities. Again, these count for your training hours that you have to, achieve towards the end of the year. And also our webinars count as training hours. If you weren't able to join us recently, Andy and Laura from Homerville, Andy from Rome and Laura from Homerville, put on a great webinar called Collaborating Effectively with Chambers. It is posted on our YouTube channel for anybody to view and check out, share, watch again. And any of these webinars that you check out, whether it's live or recorded, those again count as training hours. But it was a great opportunity to hear from 2 different communities about how they, as local Main Street managers, interact with their Chamber of Commerce, how they work together, and really emphasizing the strength in these relationships and the value there. All right, that's a lot of information that I just threw out there. Any questions about any of that before we pivot and move in a different direction? Let me pull up, okay, looking at the chat. All right. So 2 more things before I turn this meeting over to Emily, and she's going to show us a couple things and talk about some GDA stuff. first MOUs are getting ready to go out. So every year we are required by National Main Street to have a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, on file with all of our communities that we work with and assist. Ellen and I have been working through those, and with the plan of them going out, I believe May 1st, correct? With a due date of
July
June
1.
30, July 1. Okay. And they go into effect July 1 as well. So 3 people have to sign it. It's the manager, a city representative, authorized representative, and your board chair. And we use DocuSign to do all this, Adobe DocuSign. So it will make its way around to you digitally. If you need any special considerations, if you need anything tweaked in your particular MOU, please reach out to us now, so that way we can make sure to accommodate that and be able to get it to you in the right amount of time so you can get everybody you need to sign it. Anything else on MOUs, Ellen, that I'm not thinking of?
No, yeah, just make sure I'll be harassing everyone if I don't get them back before July 1. So you'll probably hear from me a good bit if I haven't gotten it back. But just be on the lookout for an email on May 1st. I mean, like May 1st, they will all go out. So I'm working on them now.
Awesome. Okay, and then lastly, Ellen and I are just going to chat real quick with y'all about monthly reporting and some things we noticed during the annual assessment process. So full disclosure, annual assessments are done. The recommendations have been made to national. All of them are in your Dropbox. You should know your designation. There should be no uncertainty out there as far as like what your designation is or what it means. And we will be hosting a webinar a little bit later this year that will focus on preparing for next year's annual assessment process. And in that, we will talk a little bit about things that we had noticed this past year that, little catches or tricks or things like that to better, improve the whole process. But we felt like there was value in talking right now about the monthly reporting process, so you don't get, even further into the year, maybe doing something potentially wrong. So Ellen, I'm going to turn it over to you first and let you kind of kick it off, and then I'll jump into if there's things that I've noticed that you haven't covered.
Sounds good. Yeah, so during the annual assessment process, we did see a lot of communities that just, when we're looking at your impact numbers, we're seeing things that are potentially off. And so I want to remind everyone that, when you're doing your monthly reporting, the first budget line that says like amount of money that's being spent on the program per the month, just remember that that's going to include your salary, your office space, your training, your travel, all of that information, not your event budget. So any of that information, just remember that that's going to be an investment in the downtown community as well. So remember to put all of that information in there. I do see a lot of communities that I'm fairly certain they're not including their salaries in there, because I don't think that y'all are getting paid that small amount of money. So just remember to always put that in there. And any travel or training. Usually if you're zero budgeting out every year, the easiest thing to do is to take your budget, those line items, and just divide it by 12. But if it fluctuates, then do it that way as well whenever you get your budget report back from your accounting person or yourself if you're doing it yourself. So that's one of the biggest ones we see.
I was going to say, and it's also regardless of where the funds come from. So even if you
Right.
don't have a specific Main Street line item, we still want to make sure, that these funds are being accounted for, whether it's just part of the city's general fund, whether you're underneath the marketing department, no matter what it is. It's really just looking at the picture holistically.
Right. I would say that the second biggest one is not remembering to include events that are happening that you don't host through your office. So like trivia nights, sip and paints, things that are being hosted by your downtown businesses, remember to include those in your event numbers as well. They don't have to be hosted by you. You don't have to spend any money on them, but if there is a public event, happening in your downtown, just remember to include those numbers as well. So don't count birthday parties, weddings, things like that, but definitely count trivia nights, that kind of stuff when you're accounting for event numbers. It just really shows that vibrancy, and there's things going on past 5 o'clock or, beyond, just a regular weekend evening. So just remember when you get those numbers back, if they look low and you're like, that doesn't sound right, remember to count those numbers in. And then the third thing I would say is probably one of the bigger ones is that people report maybe on projects that are not completed yet. And so just remember, whenever you're reporting on projects for your downtown, like a rehab project, for instance, don't report on it until it's completed. Once you get that CO and you get the final numbers in, then yeah, you can definitely report on that. But otherwise, just wait until that project is complete. And I get, like, sometimes you want those numbers to come in if they're at the end of the year and you want that big number to come in, but just hold on and, like, let it get finished, because there might be some stuff that sneaks in that you're not realizing is being spent on the project. So those are the three big things for me that I've seen.
Yeah, and I think that one of the big things that I was thinking of really ties into what Ellen just said, which is the idea that the easiest way I think to think about it is, if you are indicating in there that something's happening, there should be an impact that is associated with it, right? So if there is, a housing unit created, or like an apartment or something, well, then what's the financial impact? If there is a business that's opening, then what are the jobs created? So like every number that you plug in should have some impact that corresponds with it. So there should never just be a situation where you're putting in, we had a, public improvement project, or we had a rehab, or we created, or we had a business open, where there isn't some kind of impact associated with that, right? So anytime that information goes in there, there's always an impact, whether it's a financial impact or job creation. And the same thing with businesses closing. I've seen it before where people are like, oh, we had a business closed, and then there's no jobs lost. And I'm like, well, if somebody went away, then there was an impact somewhere. And so again, just thinking about that in broad terms, whenever, you're indicating that something's happened, we just want to make sure that we're also capturing that impact. And we know that the process can be a little bit overwhelming and complex when you're brand new, until you've kind of like got your wings under you and figured it out. So please reach out to Ellen, reach out to us. We can help you, think through this. Candace asked, could we count live music at restaurants for events?
I say yes. If it's something special that's going on in one of your businesses, I would definitely count it. If it's not a regular thing for them, they just have somebody come in and play music randomly. Yeah, I would definitely count it. It brings in more traffic on a regular weeknight, so I would definitely count it.
And think about the other thing is public versus private. So if like the restaurant is hosting a private event for someone who's paying for it, that it's a limited, venue or whoever's coming in, that's not really what we're looking for. But anything where the public in general can come in, anybody can participate, anybody could, walk in and be there, again, that's really just showing that there's stuff happening in the community, but it doesn't always have to be like big parades or big festivals or giant concerts that we're putting on. There's also stuff happening on a smaller local level. Any questions about any of the stuff that we've just thrown out there? I know we've got a couple in chat, but Ellen's
I just want to
responding to
mention,
those.
hi Jessica and Ellen. I just want to mention, I was not putting in other events. I was just putting in my events. So now I'll start adding the parades and all the other events that the city are putting on. I didn't know I was supposed to include those events as well.
Yeah, as long as it's happening downtown, definitely count those events.
Okay, all right, good to know. All right. Thank you.
With everything we do, we're always looking at the holistic picture. So it doesn't necessarily just have to be something that the Main Street program's doing. It can be something that our partners are doing, the city is doing, small businesses are doing. Again, it's just, we want it to be happening in the downtown district.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yep. Heather, what's going on?
Oops. Okay. I have a quick question. The way so I'm definitely apparently guilty of reporting stuff before it's finished because of the way our tax and licensing and power works. They have to get their OTC before they can get their power turned on. So then I'll get the report and I'll report it because it looks to me like they're open because how would you suggest I do that in the future? Just make sure, like they're doing a huge renovation of a downtown historic hotel currently. It won't be complete until the fall, but they've already done their OTC so they can have power to the building. So how would y'all recommend I report those?
Is the OTC the same thing as the CO?
No, not necessarily. They have to have the OTC is technically like their what we call their business license, but they have to have that in order to get power.
Yeah, I would wait until they got like a certificate of occupancy for the building.
Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. I will start asking for that list instead of the list they're currently giving me. That might be better. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, and it might be good for you, Heather, because you see one when it's, you're like, oh, they're coming. This is a project in the works. And then, just waiting to report on it after
Currently, they're
it's
just sending me the
officially open.
OTCs and the building permits that come through. So I guess I'm going to need to ask for some more information from planning. So thank y'all for clarifying that.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions about monthly reporting? All right, Emily, I'm going to turn it over to you. So Emily is the president of the Georgia Downtown Association. And as y'all are aware, we have the conference coming up in Thomasville this August. And so there's a couple different things that they will be doing a call for. One is a call for sessions to be able to teach at it, which I highly encourage you to consider, not only just because you get a speaker rate for the conference, but because, again, this is a good opportunity to rip off and duplicate and share with each other and learn from your neighbors. And it also, if you have somebody else that you've worked with that you think could do a great session, make sure to reach out to them and say, hey, I would love for you to come, share your knowledge and information here, but also awards, right? So recognizing those in our state who are doing some great things and great projects, and they have moved to a completely online portal system this year for accepting these things. And so we talked at the last GDA board meeting that it would be a great, thing for Third Thursday to be able to showcase this system, especially since we can do that with screen sharing and stuff like that, and be able to answer any questions that you guys have to make sure that you feel comfortable and prepared in participating in this new platform. So Emily, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. So yeah, that was a great introduction. We are going fully online with our submissions this year. So we're really excited about that as a board to be able to do that. I think it's going to be easier for anybody submitting a proposal for any of the things we have to offer, but also for us reviewing them and that sort of thing. So as a reminder, the conference this year is in Thomasville, Georgia. So we're very excited to go and visit April and her team in Thomasville. And the conference takes place August 26th through 29th. So be sure to put that on your calendar if you have not already. And we have proposals open for submitting an education session. So last year, y'all gave us great feedback for our conference through our surveys, and a lot of people asked for more opportunities to attend sessions and present in sessions. So we heard you loud and clear, and we've added more opportunities for sessions in this year's conference. So I hope all of you will think about all the amazing work that you're doing in your community and what you think could make a session, because this is a great opportunity to share with your colleagues what you're doing, and get practice to maybe go and do this at a national conference or something of that nature. And it's just also a great way for us to connect and learn. So I put a link in the chat to the online portal. So if you want to click on that and follow along, you can do that, but I'm going to share my screen. All right, can y'all see that? Do you see something? Okay, great. So to submit any application, whether you're doing an education proposal, an award application, or if you want to submit a proposal to host the conference in 2025, this is where you're going to go to do all of those things. So it's georgiacities.com/home.aspx. We'll get this link on our website, so you have a direct link to that. But you go to this yellow button that says log in, and then you use your login information for your GDA membership. So if you're not sure what that is, Renee, of course, can help you find that information. She's on vacation this week, but she'll be back in the office next week if you need that information. So then from there, you just sign in. And then if it loads. All right, so from there, you go back to the top right-hand corner where you should now see your name for your membership. And then you click on that, and then it's going to say GDA portal. So that's where you go, and that's your portal for any GDA submissions that you're submitting online. And then from here, you should see your organization name. So you just verify that that's correct. Click yes, and then continue. And then from there, you should see what applications are open. So award applications don't open until May 6th. So you may not see those yet, but you should definitely see the education proposals. So you just would click the plus sign next to that. And then you will have several screens that just kind of walk you through what the education proposal is about. So the next couple of screens are just information about submitting the proposal, what we're looking for, what kind of topics, that sort of thing. So just click next through that. And then just more information about what you should think about, and then the requirements for the proposal, and then what your responsibilities are if you submit a proposal. So just click next through that. And then your contact information should be auto-filled from your membership information. So all of this should be there for you when you log in, but if not, just fill that out. And then click next. And then from there, it has all the information about submitting your proposal. So putting in your session title, clicking or choosing the subject matter level. So whether you think this would be more beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And then if your session, is specifically for small towns or specifically for urban districts, you could choose that. Or if you feel like it's relevant for communities of any size, you would pick all communities. And then another drop down for presenter type. So you would click single presenter if it's just you doing this education session, or if you have a panel, you would select that. And then when you do the panel, you have a place to put in the bios of every single panelist. One thing this year we've added, so now that we have an online submission, we wanted these to be more standardized, so it's really fair to evaluate all of the applications. There are word limits, so this will automatically count those word limits for you. So be sure you're aware of that. If you're like me and you type everything in a Word document before you actually go online and start submitting, that you're not doing way over the word count. But all of those word counts are there under the box. And then putting in your learning objectives. And then the last two things, putting in your session description that would be used in our program if your session is selected. So this should be quick and concise so that anybody attending the conference can read it and be like, oh, wow, I really want to go see that session. That's really relevant to me. So that has a limit of 50 words. And then we ask for a more detailed outline of your content. So that has a limit of 200 words. So you can get more into the details of what you are planning to offer during the conference. So talk about how you're going to engage your audience, any kind of teaching tools you're going to use to make it more interesting or more interactive, and then the lessons that you think people will learn and how it's relevant for people in our network to learn. And then from there, you just do save and submit, and you're done. It's all submitted. Through this, you can submit multiple sessions, I believe. So if you have any issues with that, just let us know. Renee is the point person for all these kind of questions, but I'll put her email in the chat as well, which I'm sure you all have if you're members. But you can also save your work and come back to it later too. So if you need some time to work on it and then think about it, you can just save like that, or save and return to dashboard. And it takes you back to all of the other options for your conference or for the applications. So, like I said, the awards applications will open May 30th, and this is the exact same process. So you would just go click on that and go through all the prompts, click next, be sure you're aware, choose the category for whatever project it is that you're submitting, put in the information for the name of nominee. So you would put in, you have to be a member of GDA to get an award. So if you don't have your membership up to date, be sure to contact Renee about that. But put in the information for the person nominating, and then talk about your involvement in the project or the project itself. And then you can upload the pictures for the project. And then putting in the project title. This is a big one, being sure that you're putting the name, entering the name as you want it to appear on that award if you win. So that can be sure that everything's correct and the right people are being recognized on that award. And then the primary contact for a project that's being nominated, if it's not one that you've done. And then again, for the people who are nominated, whether they're a public entity or private entity, your community's name, and then a description of the project, and then the population of the community it's happening in, and the total investment of the project. And then whoever you want to be sure gets that information about winning. So that should probably be you if you're submitting the application. Being sure that that is up to date so that you get the good news if you win, and then just hitting save and submit at the end. So all of these are online. If you have any issues with this, be sure to reach out to Renee. She can help you with any concerns, but it should be pretty easy and straightforward. The main thing is just being sure you know where to log in. Are there any questions about that? Great. Hopefully it's super easy to use and y'all run into zero snags, but we'd love to have a lot of great submissions for the conference. This is definitely an opportunity to celebrate all of our wonderful Georgia downtowns and our members. So we hope y'all will take advantage of it and participate in that. And then just wanted to give 2 other updates about GDA. We have our certified downtown professionals classes coming up. So those will be June 17th and 18th in Atlanta. A lot of you have participated in them so far. So thank y'all for doing that. I hope y'all are finding it really valuable. Based on the surveys, everybody's gaining a lot from those classes. But you can jump in at any point in time. So be sure to check that out on our GDA website. And then we have a few more regional meetups going on. So thank you to all of you who've hosted one already this year. But Cave Spring, Valdosta, and St. Mary's are all coming up. So if you haven't done a regional meetup, definitely come. This is a great way to get to know your friends and colleagues and see them in person and visit a community. And then K1, yes, GDA is celebrating 25 years this year, which is really exciting. So we're excited to celebrate that anniversary, and we'll be doing some things at the conference this year to celebrate that. Is there anything I missed from other GDA board members? Anything that we should be sure to mention? Okay, cool. Well, thank y'all for giving us the floor and talk about Georgia Downtown Association. And we appreciate all of you who support GDA, and I appreciate your membership. So let us know if you ever have any questions.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate you coming on and doing that demo for us. I'm excited about it. It's such a huge step forward for the organization, and I think this will be, great way to be able to streamline everything into one place for both the applicant and also the reviewers. So I think this is just huge. And so before I open up the floor for just general discussion, just a reminder that Birmingham is coming up. It's not too late to register if you decided you want to go still, but we will be there. Our team will be there. We're excited, keeping our fingers crossed that, Macon is currently a semifinalist for the Great American Main Street Award, and we could not be more excited to find out. I think it's Monday, May 6th, if they've officially, broken through and will be joining the ranks of our other Great American Main Street winners or not. We're keeping our fingers crossed, fingers, toes, and everything crossed. So excited for that. But Ellen has already picked up our shirts for us to wear at the conference, which is super exciting. And if this is your first time going and you haven't been before, we usually do a meetup as well. So with our managers, and we're in the process of kind of planning that. It's not a super formal thing. It usually is Dutch treat. Everybody kind of takes care of themselves. But the idea is just to be able to, hang out, see, everybody else, and, just to be able to share in the experience of being there in Birmingham together. Anything else I'm missing, Ellen?
If you got a t-shirt, look out for an email from me. And we will plan a day and a time and a place to come get your shirt. I have them like sitting behind me right now. So I will make sure to have them with me, and I will make sure that you get them. So no worries there.
They look so cute. We're so excited.
I'm giving it all. So here they are. Here's the front. Oh, and here's the back. They're cute.
Yay.
About good.
So cute. So cute. Love it. Love it. Awesome. So now I think would be a great time to open up the floor. If there's any questions or things you would like to crowdsource. Abby, I feel like I saw you on here. I know you had something we were talking about yesterday that I thought might be a good kind of place to start. Let me see, is she still on?
Yeah.
I think I saw that she left.
Oh, okay. I was like, she was here. So the thing Abby and I were talking about yesterday was looking for examples of communities that like their signage. So like gateway signage to the downtown district. What did you do? Around how much did it cost? Who did you use? Just looking to see what's been done, what they could R&D in Tifton. Anybody have any suggestions or thoughts?
Milledgeville's in the process of using Sky Design right now. It's the visitor center, the chamber, and myself who are working together to do it with Sky, and they have been phenomenal to work with. I don't know the cost exactly yet. We're paying them, I think, $20,000 for the designs, and this is going to be gateway signage as well as directional signage in the city areas, specifically downtown. But if you needed a company, they've been really great to work with, and I love their designs so far. So
Hey, Jessica and Billerica, it was a
Thank you.
DDA project a few years ago. And we have those gateway and directional signage being painted, and they'll be sent to us soon. But the company is ACSM out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I can't really comment on the price because I think we got a pretty good deal about 5 years ago when they were paid for, and they're much more expensive now, but we should have them within a month installed.
Isn't everything more expensive now?
Yes. Well, we actually looked at a newer, fresher design, and it was more than double. So we're going back with the original signage on it, but we changed the color of it though.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
I just put it in the comments for Whitfield Signs. They do everything downtown, and at the university and all over the state.
Oh, love it. Awesome. Cool. Miller EG Designs out of Ackworth. You guys are great. See, this is what I love about our network. Cool. I'm making notes for her. Oh, good question, K1. Anyone doing anything cool for Historic Preservation Month? Which, if you don't know, it's next month. That's May.
We are doing art on tap for second Saturday. So we're making like a preservation gallery in the Imperial Theater Park. So I'm working with archivists to blow up old building pictures and all kind of stuff on chloroplast, and we're gonna hang them somehow. I haven't figured that part out yet, but somehow like in a gallery style in the Imperial Theater Park. So that's our preservation month that's tied into second Saturday.
Oh, I love that. Love that, love that. I love that. I let our HPC handle that. Truth. Tanya, what's going on in Vidalia?
I do not have anything going on cool for Historic Preservation Month. I'll take any suggestions, but we had a recent situation kind of come up, and I wanted to ask, I know I've been in some of your communities where you have like fast food type establishments in your historic district, but they don't look like, they meld with your historic district. If you have that, would you mind sending me some photos of that? I've got one that's it's not actually in the historic district, but it will be like adjacent to a historic building that has just been rehabilitated, like a $3 million project. And I'm trying to keep a big neon Hardy star from going like within eyesight view of that, Anyway, if you have like anything that,
So, Clarksville is one community I would reach out to. They have a McDonald's in their historic district, and I would say it's like one of the most beautiful like McDonald's you've seen that complies with, you can tell that they like held them accountable to like design standards. And so it's like historic district McDonald's, but it's beautifully done. The other community I would reach out to is if you've got Tara's information, from Dublin, they've got a Domino's and a Subway downtown.
how are you?
And so, but I think they've done a good job. It's just part of the landscape. You know what I mean? It doesn't really stand out like in a bad way.
Okay,
So I don't know what kind of like
the online pickup is at Carter Meat. It's located behind Georgia First Bank. So
I'm like, where's this coming from? but I don't know what
Sorry, I had somebody
regulations.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, was that you? I was like, what is happening? I don't know what regulations they have in the books, on the books in Dublin to do that. But again, you know, they got two big kind of commercial entities in the downtown, and I think it's done well.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Kenda said Hampton HPC is working on something. Belinda said History Center is working on something. Social media campaign for historic photos for Preservation Month. Love that. Oh yeah, Belinda, you got a Panera, don't you? Yeah, in downtown Canton. Good. Yeah, I remember that now. Yep, right in the middle of the district too, right? Yeah. So there's definitely good examples out there. I would always say it's just the city holding them accountable, but the reality is they're going to get away with as much as you let them, you know. And so I think everybody's always afraid of losing them. But it's okay to, you know, hold their feet to the fire a little bit.
Well, I've been told that they'll work with me, but I thought if at least I had some visuals to show them that would help. So, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. All good thoughts. Any other things people want to share? Good stuff, good news? Anybody have something great that's happened recently that they're proud of, want to brag on? A little self-bragging?
Yes, I want to brag. Mr. Allen is in Atlanta right now.
Uh-huh.
We were just, the city of Statesboro was just approved to be a Gitch senior year program out of 51 eligible communities. 4 were selected to the second phase, and Statesboro was selected out of those 4. So we were just awarded last night that we are Gitch 4th year.
Woohoo! Awesome. Yay. Let's see. Alicia says Perry's doing a historic bus tours in partnership with Historical Society. Oh, but also doing window clings on historic buildings. Love that. Wendy asked about Georgia cities, if anybody's doing anything fun for that. So many things happening. Yes, Belinda.
Mine was actually about the previous question, but couldn't find the raise the hand thing.
It's okay.
We have got this really cool thing that's opening up in the basement of the Jones building, kind of like a speakeasy, but it's going to have full restaurant, 14 televisions. It's got like the duck bowling, and it's got arcade, and it's got the darts, and it's got like so many interactive games that are coming up, and we're just really excited about that, because you know that was the biggest thing when that Jones building was purchased, was me saying, let's just please have some experiences. Let's just have, and we have wonderful restaurants. We got the co-working there, but now that's going to add to the experience. And so I'm just really excited about that.
I love that. I love that. They've got a place kind of like that in downtown Valdosta, and it's just like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
But as far as now, fast forward into Georgia Cities Week, we have a laundry list of things that we're doing. I'm actually working with Public Works, and we have got Garden in the Park that's going to be this Saturday. So that kind of kicks it off. And then we have all types of tours and things that we're doing. We're actually doing a teen job fair also for any of our businesses that are looking for young adult high school for the workforce this summer. We've got that going on. But our communications department has put together a long list of things that we're doing next week. So it's a full week for us too.
Awesome. Emily, what's a market academy?
Oh, it does say market. I meant to say marketing.
No, you said marketing and I just read it as market
Yeah, so
because
we have
it's Thursday and I don't know.
Yeah, so we're adding to our list of academies for small businesses. So we're launching our first ever marketing academy. It'll kick off the first week in June, and we have applications open right now for our small businesses. But we're really excited because we're working with the curriculum developer out of Miami, who this is what he does. This is full-time job, called BizHack Academy, to work with people to learn how to do digital marketing specifically. So we're really excited to launch that. It's been a work in progress for a long time, so happy to take that to launch.
Love it. So exciting. Ashley, I just want to say, did you get a chance to watch our chamber webinar?
I watched part of it. I haven't quite finished it yet because that day I was a crazy person and I missed it. I was thinking it was 11. But I had to Saturday, so
I was gonna say, because they talk about doing like joint things with the chamber for ribbon cuttings and stuff like that, especially if it's downtown.
a couple of mine that are doing the movements, they're not members of the chamber, and I don't know that they plan to be. So I was trying to think of something outside of the box that we could do, just to celebrate them because I've got two that are in the next couple months expanding, and just it needs to be celebrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to hear what you do, Ashley, because I have some situations like that as well. I did think about forwarding that recorded chamber little session to some of my people on the chamber.
I mean, I don't really see a problem with y'all doing a ribbon cutting or something like that if it's in your downtown, regardless. I
What
mean,
about just taking like a bunch of balloons and
I thought
taking
the
a
same thing.
picture and posting it or something like that?
Yeah, I think we'll do something. I just didn't know if y'all had any neat ideas that I could copy.
I do like I was thinking the same thing that Carly was, like the balloons and, something like that.
I definitely want to make a big deal about it and make sure that everybody's aware. They
You
do a
could
lot
get
of
confetti cannons.
Yeah, that's fun.
What if instead of a ribbon cutting, you call it open for business or something like that? And so it's like you're doing your own take on a ribbon cutting, but it's not seen as like, oh, they have a ribbon cutting, we have a ribbon cutting, and we're trying to compete. And also, like, you could do it and just invite them, even if they're not chamber members, because
And I
maybe
think
they
I
would potentially come one.
I think I will invite, the chamber and all of that, and they invite me to all of theirs that they do. I don't want them to feel obligated to join the chamber just for ribbon cutting.
Yeah, I get that.
But you also don't want to step on toes, because like my chamber would probably be very pissed if I had a ribbon cutting. But I think if I took balloons or I don't know what, a plant or something, or even put a sign outside that says Main Street welcomes new business and then write it in or something like that, that would be okay. But you want to be careful not to hurt your relationship.
I totally agree. I worked for a chamber for 6 years before starting this job, and I think it would be really weird if you had a ribbon cutting, particularly because chambers use that as one of their main draws to get a member. So if somebody else is doing ribbon cuttings, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of chamber membership initially, anyway.
That makes perfect sense.
I'm gonna take the contrary view of, but it's downtown, they're a downtown business. It's not like you're doing it for people outside of downtown, right? And this is a momentous occasion because it's not like business is open downtown every day, right? So, I mean, I would consider, trying to mend that bridge so that they don't see you as competition, and again, coming from the standpoint of like, hey, this is our job and our role to serve this district. We're not encouraging them to be members, but you be involved in that process, even if they're not, might, help bridge that gap. I don't know. I'm just taking the contrary opinion here.
I had
like
that
Emily's-
actual, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I like Emily's suggestion that they haven't done this yet, but they've talked with the chamber and Macon about gifting a chamber membership to new businesses.
Oh,
So that's another neat idea.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, when we talked about it, like doing limits on it, like so many per, so it's
Mhm.
not totally them giving away everything for free. So I think
Yeah.
there's some ways you can thread that needle.
I love that. I think that's a great, like,
So we had that situation come up yesterday afternoon because we had 2 ribbon cuttings and they were in the downtown area. But to back up with what someone said about the free membership, that's one thing that the city has joined forces with the chamber. So everybody within the city limits gets their first year of chamber membership at no cost. So that way they try it out and they decide if it's something they want to do. So everybody gets a ribbon cutting no matter what. And then after that first year, then it's on them to rejoin. And then that makes the chamber really go after and explain and show them what they can actually do for them and the networking and all that. So that kind of puts it on the chamber a little bit after that because we have given them that. But I emailed, because I've watched the video. I mean, I was part of the webinar last week, and I emailed our chamber president yesterday afternoon. And I said, hey, I know we've got 2 ribbon cuttings this afternoon. I was on a webinar and they encouraged the collaboration of the downtowns with the chambers. And because I have been in a situation before where the chamber didn't like the Main Street program having a membership because they felt like it was in competition. And they saw that the Main Street organization was actually probably doing a little more than they were, and they didn't like that. But anyway, so I was told, because we have such a very good turnout of city employees, council members, mayor, admin, everything, that I would need to check with them first to make sure that it was okay to actually acknowledge me and my position and let me have a moment to just say, hey, we welcome you not only to the city, but to the downtown family, that kind of thing, and let you know if there's anything you ever need from my office, I'm here to help you. But I have to ask now to see if it's okay. Because I actually even made the comment that could I be on one end of the ribbon to signify downtown and then the chambers on the other end or whatever, and how we're joining forces as a team. And I've got to just check and make sure that it's okay. But she did do a really good job of putting me in a position so that, and it's not about a picture, but I guess it is, putting me in a position so I'm seen in both of those ribbon cutting photos, right behind on that second row. So sometimes it's easier said than done to be able to take that position. I'm just saying. So we are fortunate that we do have a good showing at ribbon cuttings, but it still would be nice because when a business opens downtown, it is a huge deal. And you want to be able to show that you are there. It's not just city employee. You're actually, even though you are one, but you're there to show that you're there as a downtown person. If that makes sense. I don't know. So I'm going to have to work on that one.
And I think Alicia and Elena made good points as far as like utilizing social media, right? Or Elena was talking about doing a write-up on their website and stuff like that. Again, using technology to help share and tell the story. Both, great suggestions.
Belinda, can I ask it one question? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, Miranda, because she's had her hand up for a little bit. Are you talking about this subject or a different one? Different one? Okay, all right. Let's let Carly ask her question, then we'll come to you.
Just who pays for that chamber membership for the first year?
The city does.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
That's a good relationship, though. I mean, you want to bring everybody to the table. It's a great way to do it. Awesome. All good suggestions.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank y'all. All right, Miranda, what's going on in Kennesaw?
I just had a couple of fun things to share that we're proud of. Around the first of the year, we launched a downtown merch shop online, all online. And we've had like right close to $1,000 worth of sales already of downtown Kennesaw swag. So that's pretty exciting for our department. And then 2 weeks ago, we got our downtown pole banners installed. So I know I reached out to a few of you to ask about vendors and best practices. So thank you for that. So our banners are up and creating a great sense of place in our downtown. So we're excited. And then the last big thing is we finally have an open date for our amphitheater downtown. So we are very much looking forward to starting to see programming in that space as well, and all of the people it will bring to our downtown.
Wow, awesome. Love it, love it. I see Ellen taking notes over there, and I think she's thinking the same thing that I am. Alicia asked if you could drop the link to the merch store or your online merch store, just so we could check it out and see how you're doing it. You know, love to R&D what other people are doing. Tanya.
Yeah, I'll go grab it and put it in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Miranda, what kind of merch is like, what's the cool thing? What's selling?
Tumblers are selling really well. This is not from downtown. This was our Employee Appreciation Month one, but tumblers are really selling a lot. We've sold, I think, quite a few hats and things like that. So yeah. And we use a print on demand service, so we don't have to house a lot of inventory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea.
That was my question. What on demand service do you use?
Maybe I should have a conference session. We are using Printify and Shopify as our storefront.
Very cool. We were going to do a webinar on it, guys. But if you want to do a session on it, I think it's not a bad idea. But yep, all about that passive income. It's a great idea. All right, guys, I know we're past 11. I'll let y'all go, but we will stay on. The team will stay on in case anybody wants to talk to us one-on-one or has any questions. But appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate y'all sharing these great ideas. Always love learning from each other. And we will see you in Birmingham. And if we don't see you in Birmingham, we'll see you next month on Third Thursday. All right. Thank you, guys.